This is just an open office. There's nothing for me to do right now. I'm bored. So, yes, there's nothing for me to do right now. I'm out here waiting on a student, staff member. Put up some fun stuff on the screen. Have you ever wondered how the whole entire election system worked at Bios Baptist Church? The election system that we do in the summertime. So here's how the election system works. So what happens is you have to be an employee here, first of all. We do not elect people to be chief only. So this year, starting this year, if you want to become a chief of a department, that would be the youth department, pre-youth department, youth department, adult department, emergency department, animal department, and the administration department chief, that would be me. And in order to change the chief of the administration department, which would be the pastor, you have to be the pastor. The original pastor has to die first before you can elect a new one. And I'll go over that process first, because that one is much more complicated and has a tendency or the audacity to change. And yeah, it's much more complicated. True breed. Fake breed. I'll wait. So let's take a look at this. To become the chief of any department, first you have to work not only in the church, but in that department. And then you have to pass the board exam portion. I think it's portion C. Now, the most current part of that exam is portion C. Portion C is the department exam. That would be for the department that you are currently working in. Garbage truck. This is the garbage truck. Please do not claim it as music in your video. Good morning. Okay. It stopped there, so I'm going to have to move down to the back of the church. So, summertime that breeze is cool, but in the springy time is hot. So, if you pass a department exam with at least a 70, that grades up, that brings up your grade on the whole entire board exam. Then you are able to become chief. If you pass with a 50, you are able to keep your license for that department. But a 70 or above means you know what's going on in the department to run it. Now, some people get lucky. They can just come straight into the department and they could just start working there. That means if they're Christian enough to do it. Now, what do I mean by Christian enough? If they're taking their Christianity serious, because it's more important that someone is Christian than knows the church law. Somebody could know the church law, and that's all they're focused on, but not Christianity. We want Christians. We prefer someone Christian come in and change the law for the better than someone who is law abiding and then come in and change the law for the worse. So the church law is not all that important to passing. It's really your Christianity towards what's important in that department. So if you pass, then you're into that department and your name will be marked with a -2. So in the emergency department, it's a little different. If your name is marked with a BBC after it, that means you are a specialist. You're a specialist. You are a professional at what you are doing. You are a physician. Physicians can easily become chief. If you don't have this end title, you can still become chief by passing the board exam. That's two ways. So, now it's the recycling truck. So, there's two ways you can pass the board exam. The chief. So, if you want to become chief, once you are hired or once you are elected, only your name is turned into the pastor of the church. Now, only the pastor or the assistant pastor has the authority to elect somebody for chief or the current chief. Only those two people has that authority. Without nobody else. The current chief of the department can elect you, the pastor, and an assistant pastor. Not even the first lady, because they hold positions. They hold rank positions. So, a pastor is -1. Our chief is -2, and the first lady is -3. First lady is effectively a witness, simply because first ladies tend to just be dragged into it's just involved in the church simply because the pastor is there. Meaning, if the pastor quits, the first lady automatically quits, and if the first lady quits. If the first lady quit, the pastor's left alone. So basically, the first lady can make a decision whether or not she wants to participate, but then the first lady's participation is based on the pastor's involvement. She could leave, but she just can't come. But she could leave. She could come back, but the pastor just has to be there. So, take a look at this. Once the chief is rehired, once the chief is put in the electoral position, the whole church has to vote. And then there could even be a public poll posted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for the public to vote. This normally carries on for approximately 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, which is the maximum allowed by law, if there is a tie of any kind in the internal poll, then the external poll will be used. If there's a tie in the external poll, then the external poll will be extended every day every 24 hours until one person breaks the tie. So the first person who hits a button and breaks the tie votes. The person wins. If there's no tie, if there's a tie on the external pole and the internal pole at the same time, then the external pole shall continue and the internal pole is thrown out. If there's a tie on the external pole and the internal pole, there shall be no tie, then the internal pole will be used. Once the person has been voted, the pledge of Bios Baptist Church and the oath of office, and they'll be sworn in as your new chief of your department, whatever age group you are. Good morning, Roderick. So, my student is here now. I taught you all about the voting system we use here at Bios Baptist Church. Have a good day, and may God bless you.